Yes, we're going to head out to our Washington, D.C. newsroom to John Solomon, editor-in-chief for JustTheNews.com. Welcome back to the show, John. John, you are sort of in the middle of this because Ukraine has been your beat. I mean, you have not let up on learning about what happened there, and you think there's a lot more to expose, don't you?
I do, yeah, and listen, it's always uncomfortable when a journalist is in the news, right? Obviously, I was named in these grand jury subpoenas in search warrants. I wasn't served one myself. Didn't have any visits from the FBI at my home. But, you know, I don't want to be the news. I'd like to just be covering the news. But when you do, and I've been through this a couple times in my career, a year ago, Adam Schiff released my phone records. There's a good question about whether he had the legal authority to obtain phone records from Rudy Giuliani and release mine. But, you know, it happened. And ironically, the Democrats never came to me and said, you know, what were these calls about? They made surmisals about them. They claimed to know what was going on, but they never interviewed me, which under due process seems a strange thing. 20 years ago this very month, the FBI and the same Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office that's involved in this case took my phone records and they took my mail without a search warrant. I was an Associated Press reporter who had broken some very big stories, and they were trying to find out my sources. And 2 or 3 years later, we were able to effectuate an apology from the FBI and to change the rules so that journalists wouldn't be targeted this way. I hope that the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office and the American public are going to engage. Whether they want it or not, I'm going to start to tell the story on my own terms because I have the facts, I have the text messages, I have the emails, I have the original documents, and the story that the Democrats, the narratives, and dishonest reporters in the news media have put out there about my Ukraine reporting is not accurate. And I intend now to correct the public record and potentially seek some form of correction from those in the news media that have misreported things about me.